guys, my name is Yemi Penn and I'm the founder and CEO of W Squared Coaching, a platform I created to inspire and motivate people to not just live a life made by someone else, but to create their own story. I've decided over the past couple of weeks that I'm going to start my YouTube series. Since the launch of part of my story in The Sun and the Mirror newspapers in the UK, I found lots of people coming to me wanting to know more about how they can achieve a life that they want. Now, this is just part of my bigger why, the bigger reason behind why I've gone into coaching. And I want to start launching it by giving you tools and tips on how you can actually start implementing some major changes in your life. So I was blessed and fortunate enough, literally just a couple of hours ago, I gave a talk to a group of young ladies between the years 7 to year 10 in the University of Wollongong, which is in Sydney, Australia. And it was around trying to get more girls, women eventually in the engineering space. You know, typically it's a male-dominated space, and there is a need and a calling to get more women in this field. And I feel really privileged to have been able to stand there and share my story. And I shared parts of my story from, you know, my dad wanting me to be a lawyer, to me eventually saying, actually, I want to do something different. I want to do engineering, which for me at the time was about making things or being part of a team that actually had impacts, positive impacts on the world. But the part of my speech that I guess I loved and connected with more, and it appears a lot of people in the audience connected with, was the conversation around limiting beliefs. And this is what I want to talk about over the next couple of minutes. Now, people think, what is a limiting belief? It's exactly as it says. There's no trick around it, but it comes in our everyday lives in some ways that we know and some that we don't. And a limiting belief to me is a belief that you have, whether consciously or unconsciously, that kind of stops you, it minimizes you, it kind of makes you play smaller than you really should. Now, our limiting beliefs can come from any part of our life. There is something in neuroscience that says anything that happens to you up until the age of 7 typically is what stays with you, which is why for those of us that have kids, this is where we really want our kids before they turn 7 to be as close to who they really are, and we don't try to dampen it. But sometimes a belief can stem from a young age, and it could be anything from someone saying, you can't play with me, you can't come play with me in my group. That starts to make you feel, well, I don't belong here. Or it could be you ask your parents for money and they respond by saying money doesn't grow on trees. It kind of does because it's made of paper, but that's a different story. The point I'm trying to make here is things that other people might say to you could eventually become part of your belief system. In the corporate world, that's a different case because most of our beliefs actually is what impacts the cultures we have in corporations today. But if we take this to a personal level, which is why I'm here speaking to you, is there a belief that you are still holding on to, that you would almost fight to the ends of the earth to convince everybody else that this belief is true? If this belief is limiting you, it's making you think, well, I can't travel to the other side of the world because it's just too far. Or I can't study that subject because we just don't have enough women or enough men. Or I can't do something because I've never done it and therefore I'm not good at it. I'm here to call bullshit. I'm here to say that this is where we are powerful creators. And I want to share a message with you that as I continue to share parts of my story that I hope will resonate with other people, is to get you to believe and understand that we were all put here for a purpose. We were all put here to do a certain type of work. And that work usually stems from something you truly are passionate about. However, this thing called our ego will test us, will question us, and sometimes throw a belief. And ways in which you can start fracturing and ultimately obliterating this belief is having a conversation with yourself. Telling yourself that you can do this. Telling yourself that you have access to resources, more access than we've ever had in years. But you've got access to these resources to be, do, have anything you want to do. But it starts with you being your biggest champion. Let's just say there was nobody else in the world. You are your biggest champion. And if you don't stand for you, very few others will. Okay? I think that's enough for me. But please do go ahead, live your life to the fullest potential you can. by first believing in you. Thank you.